All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Sesson. Thank you all for joining us. Can everybody hear me okay? I know there's some music playing in the background here, so I want to make sure that I can be heard. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody to our presentation today, where we'll talk about strategies for effectively mentoring first generation students. A super important topic. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy day, in the middle of your busy day, to join us for this knowledge that hopefully you can take back and implement into your programs, or into your classrooms, or into your household, wherever it is that you may interact with students. My name is Vaughn Harden. I'm the president of College Access for CE Educational Travel. We're an educational student tour provider. We provide college tours, educational trips for school groups and programs all throughout the country. Um, we create these webinars because we want to create a sense of community. We want to be a part of the community that you belong to, the college access community. So it's important for us to create these opportunities for you to give and gain knowledge. And we share that within the community, and create this ecosystem for developing and supporting students, right, and empowering students, which is something that's a big deal for us. So we create these as free opportunities to learn from you all, from you all, to learn from you all, because you are the best at giving this knowledge. You have it more than anyone else, and we want to again um, try to foster that. Our speaker today is a man that I have known for over 20 years. He's been a fantastic. I've seen him in action as a fantastic mentor and leader of students. We work with his students. We've been able to see the fruits of his labor in action on our tours, right? So we see how they have matured. We see how they behave, and that's all uh, attributed to his mentoring and his leadership. So, without further ado, I'll turn it over to my colleague Sesson, and she will give a formal introduction of Mr. Roberts. And I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Vaughn. As Vaughn mentioned, I'm Sesson. I'm the marketing coordinator at CE Tours. And I'm so happy that you all could join us today for this special 30-minute webinar on strategies to effectively mentoring first generation students. So throughout this webinar, I want to encourage you all to ask questions in the chat. We'll also dedicate a few minutes at the end to address any further questions. So let's go ahead and get into introducing our guest speaker for today's session. So we have a very special guest speaker, as Juan mentioned, and one of CE Tour's most valued clients, Savannah State University's TRIO director, Mr. Bobby Roberts. With a background in criminal justice and a deep-rooted passion for serving marginalized communities, this has led Bobby to become the director of Savannah State University's TRIO Upward Bound program. A role he's dedicated himself to for the past decade. So his commitment to bridging the gap for underserved students and connecting them to post-secondary opportunities is truly inspiring, and what makes him the perfect candidate to share his insights on this specific topic. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming Bobby, and let's dive into today's conversation and uncover the keys to empowering first-generation students. So without further ado, Bobby, please take it away.
All right. All right. Good afternoon, all. Thank you all for coming out today. Hopefully you will leave with some effective strategies to continue to work with first generation students. So I'm glad that you are here. So let's dive right in. All right, the purpose of this webinar is to present theory as well as best practices, to give you information to increase student engagement, so you can also meet your programmatic objectives. So today we will discuss what is mentoring, what mentoring is not, benefits of mentoring, and you'll have an opportunity to have a takeaway to plan your own mentoring event. So let's move. All right. So what is mentoring? Mentoring is a structured and trusting relationship that brings together caring individuals who offer guidance, support, and encouragement to hopefully increase competence and character of the mentee. So This will be the definition that we will operationalize as to what mentoring is. Now, 3 types of mentoring. There's the traditional, whereas of course there's the one-on-one, and there's also the distance where you meet periodically via Zoom, that kind of situation, or there's also group mentoring. I especially focus and try to capitalize on the group mentoring with our organizations, because you never want to have situations where you're one-on-one with minors. So definitely understanding the impact of group mentoring and how that can affect your student engagement and population. So now let's talk about the 5 C's of positive mentoring. So you have competence, where you're looking at the social, academic, and cognitive skills. You also have the character connection, where you are looking for morality and integrity. Also, when you're building confidence in these young people that you're working with, you want to have them increase their self-worth and their self-esteem, as well as you're looking for a connection. So it builds positive bonds with those students that you're working with. And you also want to increase compassion. When you have empathy for others and students understand and they see how you engage when you are working with them, you want to instill in them the ability to be compassionate. You don't want people to run over them, but you want them to understand others and understand how people are coming from varying backgrounds, and to understand that as a mentor, to have all of these characteristics kind of gives them a comfortable place to come when they are looking for guidance. So definitely utilizing these 5 C's of positive mentoring. Now, for my program, I'm a pre-college program, so we work with high school students. But let's look at a view of the college experience. When you're dealing with mentoring on the college level, you want to increase rapport building. So students, when they're coming to you through advisement or any other type of engagement, it's important that you are increasing the rapport access, and they feel comfortable with sharing with you, because that's how you cultivate relationships. They have to feel that you care, and the rapport that you all have built definitely will be impactful. Now, the identification process. There's varying ways you can connect with mentees. You can, if you are a student support services program, they come into your office, they share with you, then you can say, hey, oh, have you thought about this? You can connect them, kind of putting them in different paths to connect with other positive people that can help them through the identification process of finding a mentor. Or, just a simplistic ask, hey, would you mind, me, you checking in with me periodically so I can kind of, give you some information. Definitely just asking, hey, I want to serve as your mentor, being able to build that relationship with your mentee. Also, too, once you establish these relationships, it's important that you follow up. There's nothing worse than creating a relationship and that you don't foster. So it's important that you follow up. Like I said, and I like to share, you don't have to check in with them every day, because that's not realistic. That's not going to be ideal for anyone, but you want to be able to have opportunities where you can do check-ins, they're meaningful check-ins, and that assists with the rapport building as well. Now, what mentoring is not. Unless you're a trained therapist or counselor, you should not be providing therapy or counseling services to your mentees. It's important that you understand that you can give guidance, you can give a pathway, but you're not to give therapy, or you're not to give counseling. You're not trained in that. Like I said, unless you're trained in that. But if you're not trained in that, you don't want to be providing therapy and or counseling. Also, too, as a mentor, you don't want to abuse the power. when you're working with mentees, some of them are vulnerable. Some of them have different paths that they've encountered in their past, and it's important that as a mentor, because we've seen definitely some challenges with the abuse of power and mentorship. It's important that you're not abusing the power of having them do things for you, meaningless tasks. No, you want to empower these young people. That's why they are looking forward to engaging you and being a part of their community. Now, mentoring is not a one-way street. It's important that the mentees and the mentors are on the same page there. It's reciprocal. And sometimes it's okay for the mentee to actually check in on the mentor to see, if are you okay? Do you have the capacity to do, can I help you? Oh, go back. Can I help you what you have going on? So understanding that, also too, understanding there's no wizardry present. There's no wand for mentorship. So it's important that the relationship is understood. You have clear boundaries, and there's no mind reading there as well. So, when you're focusing on your mentor, your mentee, it's important that you're saying, hey, what do you have going on? How can I help you? Because you don't want to infer anything, because it might not be what you think. So definitely asking direct and deliberate questions will be helpful. Now, 10 ways to be an amazing mentor. And this is no set, list of things, but these are some things that I like to share with you. Understand what you want out of the relationship. It's important that, like I said, you have clear set goals. What are we going to do? What do you want out of this? This is how I can help you. Having the mentor and the mentee be on the same page as to what is going on and how they want your relationship to foster and grow. Now set expectations together in the very beginning. If you're a busy person, say that. Say, hey, I get busy. I want to be here for you, but hey, if we can meet once a month, or you come up with a schedule, stick to that schedule. These mentees are looking forward to that engagement. That's why they agreed, or sometimes that's how they don't know they agreed, but you are such a positive person in their life. They want you to follow up with them and give them guidance. So also take a genuine interest in your mentee as a person. Figure out what their goals are, figure out what they have going on, where, which direction they're trying to go. Also too, while you're doing this, you're building trust. Trust is a definitely key element of this relationship that you're trying to foster. So you want to have that trusting relationship. And also too, know when to give advice. Sometimes you just need to listen. Sometimes you just want to provide information. You want to hear what they have to say, and they just need a sounding board. They don't want to always, well, you need to do this, you need to, no, I want to listen to you. Just share. So sometimes that engagement is more meaningful, just being able to get it out versus walking around with all of these things that they need to share. So, but they have no one to share it with. So just know when to give advice or know when to listen. Now, don't assume anything about your mentee. It's a question to ask. It's important to ask questions to see what's going on. Because like I say, when you go with assumptions, you might be thinking something else and it might not be what you're thinking. So definitely don't assume anything when you're developing these relationships. Also too, sharing your journey. Your mentees want to know what you've gone through. You don't have to share everything. You don't have to be, give them the full rundown, but you can give them pivotal pieces that will help their trajectory change as well. So definitely sharing your journey and giving information about how you got to where you are and some of the obstacles and the milestones that you've accomplished throughout your trajectory as well. So be cognizant of that. Also to celebrate their achievements. With my program, we work with high school students. We attempt to, when they provide notice, if they share what they have something going on, they have a presentation. I know some of my staffers, they went to end of the year concert program where they were putting on things that they worked on all semester. So when you're able to be in the audience, that means a lot for the students that you serve. Like, you know, we all have our lives. We can't go to everything, but it's definitely that will definitely impact the students that you work with. Also, too, seeking out resources to help your mentee grow. If you see something that you get an email or you find something as you're reading, definitely share that information to definitely free resources, because you know you don't want to give them anything that has a fee. And you know, oh, I want you to do this, but I don't know how you're gonna pay for it. So if you have anything that's free, definitely connect those resources to your student. And also, too, make sure you have the bandwidth. If you know at this particular time you have a lot going on and you can't definitely provide the guidance and the support that is needed to grow a mentor-mentee relationship, say, hey, right now, I can't help you and give you the help that you need, but I do know of somebody that I can kind of connect you with until I'm at a place where I can definitely dive back in and continue to support you. Because the thing is, you don't want to be a mentor, and when it's time to be present, you're not focused and you don't have an opportunity to be there. So, because you could be present but not be you could be physically present but not mentally there, and that is a problem. So if you know you can't give the support that is needed, definitely there's nothing wrong with taking a step back, regrouping, and making sure that your mentee is still getting supported.
But we actually have a great question in the chat.
Okay.
Marijuana says, what is the protocol slash best practices to refer out to therapists or counselors?
Very good question. If it's something harmful, if it's something that is that could potentially become harmful, and I think sharing with the mentee and say, hey, I'm going to connect you with, letting them know that you're not doing it secretively or behind their back, to say, hey, this is too much for me. I don't want to be the person that you left this with and then something happens and then you didn't communicate it. Then you have some, you know, morality clause there that you could have done something. So if it's something that is potentially harmful, and that's with high school students, definitely, but definitely with college students, if it's something that's going to be harmful to their existence, you definitely should refer out and let them know too, because that's, once again, relationship building. It's not what you know. You didn't tell you telling my business, but you didn't tell me you telling my business. No, I'm going to tell you. I'm telling your business, and I'm going to get you some help. So definitely connecting them with a resource so they can continue to grow. Very good question. Now, the benefits of mentoring, because there are definitely some benefits to this. Mentoring can be a rewarding experience for all parties, the mentor and the mentee. Mentoring offers numerous benefits to developing leadership, because that's the role that we want to increase the skills of these young people. So that can be done through leadership, communication skills, and definitely enhancing their professional growth. Because even as high school students, we want them to go to college. So every activity that we do, every function is connecting them to the next step. So students understanding what the benefits are for these activities, they get it on that level. Also, too, mentoring creates a lasting impact. It fosters satisfaction from helping others achieve their goals. So if you can see students that you have started off with, and you can see the growth, and you can see the impact that you placing them in different environments has done to their trajectory, that is satisfying and satisfying to the mentor. Now, benefits of mentoring: increase self-confidence. That's the whole goal. You want these young people to have additional within themselves, to be able to be confident, to be able to stand in any room and to be able to support themselves, to offer back conversation, to engage, and to be present in those moments. You also want to increase self-awareness. You want them to understand who they are, and what they're, you know, they've gone through is definitely going to help them be where they're trying to go. So having them understand who they are, it increases communication skills, definitely interpersonal and oral communication. So definitely ensuring that we are increasing communication skills, better personal network, and exposure to new and different perspectives. Because we also want to ensure that when you're doing this engagement, they're getting new things, they're leaving with different perspectives. Now, how do you replicate mentoring? Now, many of the people on the line I would assume are grantees of federal funds through the U.S. Department of Education. So when you're writing grant proposals, definitely include mentoring aspects. I know when they did the last writing competition, they had competitive preference priorities and that of mentoring aspects. So when you have those opportunities to beef up your proposals, definitely include mentoring as a support there. Now, when you are creating these mentoring programs, it's definitely when you're marketing and you're having your flyers and things shared, have a logo. So people, when they see it, they understand, oh, okay, that's what this is. And that helps your students understand too, when they see that, oh, okay, I need to make sure I'm present for that because I know something's going to happen because this is what I'm familiar with. When you're planning your activities, plan with a purpose. What is the end result? What do you want to get? What will be the outcome of students participating in these activities? Also, to remember, no one-on-one mentoring when you can. You want to make sure there's a group, definitely with the minors. I don't know. I know at our institution we go through definitely mandated reportive trainings and on campus things. So it's definitely it's going to be a case-by-case situation, but you never want to, like I say, participate in one-on-one mentoring with minors. Now, with our gender-specific retreats with our program, we have annually where our students they go to a hotel and we take them on a college tour. We also have a cultural experience, but then we do some workshops where they're split out and then they work on their tracks and then they come back together and we do a summation. And the students actually look forward to that. We've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years. And to see the growth in the students, and they look forward to that engagement because they will potentially, hopefully, glean something from the experience. Now, we are to the end. So, and this is, you know, if you want to kind of report back to me, you can. My email address is robertsb@savannahstate.edu. But you can plan your own mentoring activity. And if you could include who will be your target population, what is the topic, what is the purpose, because, you know, you're planning these activities, you want to have an end goal. And also, too, could it become a series of events? When you're working with students, if they can see these activities build upon each other, it definitely allows for an expectation for them to see something that they're going to get from it. So if you can create a series, that will be ideal for your populations.
We have another question in the
Okay.
chat, Bobby.
Yes.
What are the first steps, such as like the first meeting, to build trust one-on-one and in a group?
Okay. First meeting, I would say maybe do some icebreakers or some trust building events so they can kind of see who you are as a mentor. And also too, you can find out what they are, what they want, you know, maybe in a short, maybe a survey or a short need, I won't say a needs assessment, but something where they're able to kind of respond to inquiries so you can kind of see what how you want to plan the activities. And if it's one-on-one, like hopefully this is a college group, But if it's one-on-one, just maybe going to a coffee shop or the library or somewhere where you can have a foundational discussion, or your office. But like I said, once again, you want to kind of be open when you're having these meetings, so you can kind of figure out what do they want from this opportunity, and you can kind of share what you're bringing to the table and what they hopefully will get from the relationship that can be built. Any other questions?
That is it so far. Thank you so much, Bobby, for your enlightening session. I know your words really hit home for me as someone who's first generation myself. Your insights resonate deeply with me, and I'm sure our audience could say the same. So as we wrap up this discussion, I want to open the floor for any further questions. Oh, we got a new one. How do you engage the parents? That's a great question.
Parents. Well, now we have with my program, we do a family summit. So annually, normally in, I want to say March, we do a battery of workshops for our parents. So our students come, they have their strand, and then the parents have their strand, and then we'll end with the activity together. So normally I invite a school counselor to come in and talk about, how to read a transcript, understanding the credits, talk about dual enrollment, all of these things that can definitely have the parent understand more about the high school experience. Also, too, this year we brought in someone to talk about credit and home buying. So definitely anything that that your population can get information-wise, these programs are designed to definitely connect and to build that bridge. So anytime if you see there's a need for information sharing, creating something like that will definitely get parents engaged. And if you want to, because I know the thing is to get them there. We also have where we feed, our parent association feeds those the parents, because with federal funds you can't feed parents all the time, but the parent association provides a meal, and that kind of gets more participation. Also, too, if you can get a gift card donated, do a raffle to get them in the audience. So there's several things that you can do to bridge that gap to getting parents involved.
Great. And we actually have a suggestion. Thank you, Monica, for this. She says, can I suggest a couple of books? What Color is Your Parachute? Has teen and college editions, and it's really helping me mentor my students. I also bought teens copies for the students and the seniors to get the college edition. So that was actually a suggestion. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I'm gonna check that out myself.
Yeah. So that book again was What Color is Your Parachute? And we also have another question from Katrina. What events and activities keep your high school students engaged and leaning in?
And a lot of people say, well, Upper Bound gives a stipend. Upper Bound stipend is not a whole lot of money. But definitely when you are planning activities, have their buy-in. When you do evaluations of your events, ask a question like, what do you want to see? What can be done to have, you come back again? So definitely getting the student buy-in when you're planning activities definitely will encourage them to be present. Also, too, reading the evaluations. Sometimes we have these students, they complete them because that's a part of what we do, but doing the analysis to say, hey, you're interested in being a stenographer. Okay, bring a stenographer in and say, hey, you remember on that survey, you said you wanted to know more about stenography. Here's a stenographer. So definitely connecting them to, you can't do it for everybody, of course, but definitely them seeing something that they asked about and then seeing it presented definitely hopefully increases additional buy-in.
Beautiful. We have a couple more questions. This question is from Nikki. I'm hoping to train students to be ambassadors to underclassmen on UH campus this fall. How can I encourage students to apply to be a mentor?
Now at Savannah State, they have something called the Stripes program where it goes through student affairs, and basically they get credit towards additional things they do outside the classroom. So I don't know if that may be something that you want to develop at your campus, to where they are encouraged to do additional things outside of the classroom. I don't know if you can do a stipend, or maybe create a community service model where they get community service hours for the participation that they have within your organization through the mentoring piece. So definitely students are big on what can I get from it, sadly. So if you can give them something to motivate their participation, it should increase what you're trying to students.
All right, we have a question from Sharna who says, with the demands of the economy, many of our students are working, just like parents. So how do you bridge the gap of participation?
Do some virtual things, do some things where they can do it asynchronously, so they can do it on their own. There's, you just have to be creative. COVID has really showed us that you have to definitely do some things more creatively. So you can't do the same, okay, let's come to the, fill this out. No, you got to do a Google Doc. You have to do it something they can do on their phone, something they can do on their own and report back to you. Definitely, you still want to have the personal engagement, having them come, but that's not a realistic goal for everyone. So being able to adjust and meet the students where they are, but also still using the traditional approaches as well, but definitely adjusting to increase their participation.
Perfect. And this is piggybacking from Katrina. We actually have Monica who's suggesting that she did Python programming, and her students who barely passed math now has 102%. And just yesterday, he gave credits to doing the programming. So that was for Katrina, who asked a question previously. All right, I think that's all for the questions, and I know that we're a couple minutes out, so thank you everyone for still being here. I want to go ahead and thank Bobby. Thank you so much for hosting this webinar for us. And I want to thank everybody for your participation and your fantastic questions. Before we bring the session to a close, I want to let all of you guys know that following this webinar, I will be sending out an email, post-webinar email containing the recording of the session, as well as the presentation slides in a PDF form. And for those who are interested in learning more about CE Tours and how we can support your educational needs, travel needs, my contact information will be included in that email. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Bobby, I know that you mentioned it earlier before, but if anybody wants to get in contact with you, can you let them know your contact information again?
It's Roberts, Roberts, B at Savannah, SAVANNAH, State, SATE.edu. Yes, there we go.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. Be sure to follow us on social media at CE Tours on all platforms, just to stay up to date on future webinars to come. And thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to staying connected. All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. Bye.